All right, guys. So we just finished day 2 of the Wealthy Trustee workshop. Today we went over our private family trust, which is utilized for our personal assets. Okay, so it's a personal asset holding trust. Now, with that being said, I want to go ahead and open up the floor for Q&A so that I can answer any and all questions for you guys based off of the information that we went over today. So I broke down all of the articles and provisions and sections within the trust so that you can understand the contents of the trust so that you can operate this trust efficiently and effectively. So let me answer any questions that you might have. The first hand that I see is Tyrone. I will also go inside of the chat to see any questions that you guys typed throughout the workshop. Hey, Tyrone.
What's the deal, family?
Hey, hey, hey.
Oh, once again, lovely job. Appreciate you. I see you working it through. You sound a lot better. So my prayers are working. You know what I'm saying? Hallelujah.
Everybody's prayers are working.
Absolutely. But
Hey.
my question is, you had mentioned earlier that um the benefactors, the benefactors.
Beneficiaries
Yeah, there you go. Couldn't get it out. But they cannot have, what did you say? They can't have a position, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm making
Yeah,
sure.
they cannot have any type of power or control, so they can't hold a management position. So,
Right.
so typically, like if you wanted them to be a part of your board, which I see that, unfortunately, they cannot be a part of your board.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. That was just one of the things that I'm making sure I don't have that, you know what I mean? But I also just wanted to make sure, um, just in case that come through, because I'm helping a few other people with some things, and I was like, yo, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Because you're either going to benefit or you're going to manage. It's either or, right?
So you're either gonna, oh, yeah, correct. So, okay, there is a caveat. So if you are the beneficiary, I mean, excuse me, if you are the trustee and you want to list yourself as a beneficiary, you can do that. You just cannot be the sole beneficiary. Okay, so
Right.
it can't just be you as the trustee and beneficiary. There has to be other beneficiaries in order for you as a trustee to qualify to be a beneficiary. That is the only circumstance outside of the restriction of beneficiaries having management power.
All right, I appreciate it, family. Once again, you're gorgeous, and I look forward to tomorrow. God bless you.
Thank you, Tyrone. Appreciate you so much. I'm looking forward to tomorrow too. Wednesday's going to be great. Kim said inside of the chat, EIN is employee ID. So EIN is employer identification number. Okay.
Mhm.
So the any legal structure like a sole proprietor, an LLC, a corporation, a trust, an estate can employ. So this can be by way of an independent contractor, or even like a W-2. Okay. Next we have Miss Dina. Hey, Miss Dina.
Hi, how you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
You sound much better. I'm good. Now, I have a question. I haven't heard it being addressed, but I just want to ask it. In the case, if you had something like, I have like the three separate urns that I want to list, could I list them also under the section where you save for your personal things that you want to list for your family members?
Okay. I kind of
Would I
missed the
list it there?
Three what? I forgot. I'm sorry. What was it? Three.
Let, I, oh, I have three separate urns from my mother, when she passed.
Yeah.
And one is going to one child, and there's another particular one that's also, that one is for my son, the firstborn. So that there's no dispute as to who gets what, or I'm not here and the property has to go to someone. Could I list that there so they know who gets what and which one gets which particular urn? Could I list that there under the family, in the family trust thing?
So if you are going to consider it as like, personal property or personal item,
Mm.
um, yes, it wouldn't be listed as an asset if it doesn't have some form of like intrinsic value, but you can place it there because it will qualify as being able to be used by the beneficiaries.
Okay. So kind of like if you had like collectibles that you
Correct.
didn't necessarily want to sell, but you wanted to keep in the family.
Correct.
And so you could put it there. It could be done.
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
Thank you, Miss
Okay. I
D.
didn't hear that address. So I said, let me ask. If anybody knows, Christina knows. Okay.
Thank
That
you,
was a
Miss
great,
Dina.
that was a great question.
Yeah, it is. It is great. I have one for my mother, and now Miss Dina is planting a seed. Maybe I need to split it up. Because I have one, but I have three kids, so the math is not mathing. So I need to make it make sense. So thank you, Miss Dina. We appreciate you so much. All right, next we have Stanley. Hey, Stanley.
Hello, hello.
How
A
are
quick
you?
question. I'm doing well today. I'm glad to see you are too.
Thank you. I prayed about it. I'm telling you, I went right into spiritual warfare. I was not playing around.
I think a lot of us hit our knees for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you guys, I love you so much, and the power of prayer is undeniable. And thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm in full
at,
gratitude, full
at the
gratitude.
use of at the don't like using old cliches, but prayer changes things.
It sure does. Really. And it like it's so sometimes it's instantly. But in my case, I was down for like 3 weeks, but I'm back. So I'm just so grateful to be able to be here in this space with you guys. And I appreciate you guys because I know a lot of you guys sent your wishes inside of our chat and in the text message and email. So thank you guys so much.
Great.
Yeah.
My question is concerning the TCUs.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
are these physical documents like similar to stock certificates?
Yeah, yes. So you are going to create the certificates, and you will issue the certificates. And you issuing the certificates is optional. So if you want to physically create and issue it, you can. If not, then you can just hold that information inside of the trust.
Okay. But the recipients will know that they have X amount of.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Stanley. Appreciate you. All right. Let me see. So next I see a question in the chat. It was saying about trustee commission. So if it's mandatory. So when it comes to the trustees being compensated, you are going to have to determine what that compensation looks like. So is it required? Um, I would definitely say yeah. So it doesn't have to be a dollar amount. It could be an exchange. So for example, if you're rendering trustee services and the one of the compensation agreement is that your housing and utilities is covered because of trustee services, right? So there's no actual dollar amount or exchange that's happening, but it still is you being compensated for your services. And do you have to have an LLC in order to open up the business trust? No, you do not have to have an LLC. So if you would like to operate a business, you can establish the business trust and then operate a business directly from that entity if you don't have an LLC. So there are individuals that are that already have LLCs and corporations established. And so they want to be able to get it restructured to where the business trust owns it. And so they'll go down a different route than the individual that doesn't have an LLC or a corporation. Next we have Roblins.
Yes. And, and that's great to see you,
Oh my
Christina.
gosh, Mr.
Much love.
Robert.
We love you. Yes. This is Wilson. Robert Wilson. Roblins is my
Long time no
nothing.
see. Where you been? Okay, you
I
know what? Anyway,
know my
I have my
apologies.
people look. I have my people looking for you.
Oh yeah, that's great. I'm staying talk to him. So I was able to accomplish getting title
Uh-huh.
for some assets I was financing. So I'll be ready to move those into my trust.
Nice.
So thank
Congratulations.
you
I
for
love
that.
that.
Credit is built up. I'm looking forward to purchasing property, and I
Uh-huh.
would like to have that in the trust. And one of my questions, Christina, is just concerning the TCUs.
Uh-huh.
I'm not looking at any majority to any beneficiaries, and I would like to distribute 30 or maybe 40% of TCUs, to possible beneficiaries, and then the rest retaining for me. Because really, for my retirement, it's not a lot of people in my zone I trust. I do have some great ones that are part of my family, extended family that can work in the trust board capacities and such. But concerning the TCUs, I just wanted to see about only distributing a small percentage and possibly changing the rest of TCUs either trust or in myself. The only other question I had was, are the TCUs a paper product and are physically distributing, or is it a digital transfer where it's across paper?
That's a really good question. Okay. So, the audio is a little bit shaky, but I'm almost certain that I heard everything and understood everything. So, the first question is regarding the TCUs. Do you have to issue all 100 units? No, you don't. So, if you want to be able to hold units, they will be able to be held by the trust. So if you want to issue 30, then 70 will be held in the trust for a future distribution of those units. Okay. The next question is it physical? So you can physically, so there's two ways that you can do it. It's all in your operating style. So you can do it to where you physically issue a certificate to the beneficiaries, and on that certificate, it'll identify how many units they have. Or you can just leave the documentation within the trust organization. So it'll stay on the actual schedule, how many units which particular beneficiary has.
Great. Yeah. So you asked my question. Another reason for the hold up is my tax person is great. I did have some of your tax people look over my tax people, contact person, and they were doing a great job with where I was at the time. And as I progressed with the trust, they don't have as much knowledge with, so I wish you had over, some people who can really help me handle the accounting and some transfers and the tax benefits related with distributing the tax burdens over from my business to my family trust and from my family over to my ministry trust. I look forward to operating that. And it's so great always seeing you. And I want to say, I love you, Christina. I'm still on some sour stop right now. Just basically sour stop and soak the spring water. There. So, really thanks for your help. You had all those great products, those great fruits, and everything. I don't know where you from, where you live. So, take note and spiritually, physically, and mentally, you'll be great. But you're looking great and great to talk with you. So great, Christina.
Thank you. I love you too, Mr. Robert. Thank you so, so, so much. And I'm glad that you have had like a good experience. So we have our own team of CPAs that will help you with the taxes. So they'll help you file the 1041. They can help you on the personal side and on the business side as well. So you will be able to hear from them and see them. Unfortunately, our CPA is out of town this week, but he will be available in the next 2 weeks. So we have a session with him December 5th at 12:45. So that's when you'll be able to meet our CPA so that he will show you from top to bottom how to fill out the 1041, and he will answer all of your tax questions, okay? So,
Great.
yes, but thank you, Mr. Robert. I appreciate you. It's so refreshing to see your face. I haven't seen you in a very long time. So, but I appreciate
Progressing through.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It takes time to digest, but thank you so much. You
You're
really
welcome.
put a lot of energy and brought so many gems to us. So that's
Yeah,
all to you.
thank you. All right, awesome. So we still have some questions in the chat. So let's see. The first one I see here is how you dissolve a trust if needed. That's a wonderful question. So what you would do is you would actually terminate the trust. So you would have a board meeting. In the board meeting, you will go ahead and identify that the trust is going to be terminated. The trust is going to be terminated. The reason for the termination, so whatever you as a trustee feel, is in the best interest of the organization in order to terminate it, okay? And then you will also accompany that with a termination letter. So on the very top of the letter, it will just say termination, and then you will go ahead and identify that the trust is being terminated from this date at this time, and that the assets, if there are any assets, what that disbursement looks like. Is the protector also optional? Yes, the protector is optional. You don't need a protector if you don't, if you don't feel like it's in the best interest. Now, I will tell you this. When it comes to the protector, right now you may not feel like you need a protector because you are the person that is operating the trust, and you are probably most likely operating the trust ethically and in the true best interest of the beneficiaries. Now, you also have to think about later in the future, right? So in the future, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you're going to have a successor, and there might be multiple trustees in place. And so you are not able to guarantee how they're going to operate the trust. And so you might want to think about having your board put a protector in place in the future so that they are, able to ensure that whoever's going to take over after you is dealing ethically, legally, efficiently, things like that, right? They're not grossly negligent with the trust or try to dismantle the trust. The next question is, if a trustee wants to add a beneficiary, do they need permission from the beneficiary to transfer UBIs? So you do have to notify the beneficiary. So I'm not sure if you're going to do like a redistribution, but yes, you do. So you do have to notify the beneficiary if you're going to make any changes to anything dealing with their beneficial status, okay? Are the beneficiaries entitled to request a copy of the trust? Yes. So the beneficiaries can receive a copy of the trust documentation, the trust indenture, and that is pretty much ensured. So that they are able to understand what the bylaws of the trust are, right? So you want them to be able to know what the terms and conditions are of the trust so that they can abide by those terms and conditions, right? So yes, it is in the best interest of the entire organization for the beneficiaries. Now you're going to determine what's an ideal time, right? We're not going to give a 2-year-old a trust document, right? But if they're, of age at a level of maturity and they have some type of understanding, or if they're at that point where you feel like they're ready to receive training, then you can move forward with that. So the next question is there a difference between principal and income, and are they taxable? So income is taxable, principal is not. So that's money that is held in the trust that is not going to be deployed. So income is taxable, and it depends on how you allocate the income. So is it going to expenses? Is it going to distribution? Is it going to contribution? Um, if you allow a beneficiary to live in one of the properties of the trust, do you report that as income to the beneficiaries? So that's a very good question. So it depends on you. You have to structure it. So you as the trustee, this is discretionary. Now, beneficiaries, they are allowed to live in trust assets. So as long as you, the trustee, are allowing this to happen, then it can happen. And it can happen at the expense of the trust. And at that point in time, it will not be reported as income, because that's not something monetary that they're actually receiving, versus something very different, which is them receiving, income for their rent. And let's just say that they live on campus. Okay. So it depends on how you structure that. What information should we share to the banks when opening up the bank account? So we're actually going to go through banking procedures on Thursday. So I will answer that question on Thursday if it's still a question, because we're going to go through the steps. Okay. Okay, so if the beneficiary has 100% TCUs and they expire, so if they expire, then if they have heirs, their TCUs will go to their heirs. If they don't have heirs, then the TCUs will go back to the trust. And the trustee will then determine how the TCUs are redistributed. If the beneficiaries receive a gift from the trust, do they have to pay taxes? So no, beneficiaries do not have to pay taxes on a gift. They only have to pay taxes on distributions. So it's very important on how you actually how you disperse the money. Okay. Can only two people be the beneficiary and trustee as well? Um, so one individual can be a trustee and a beneficiary, but it can't be both of them being both trustees and both beneficiaries. While living, can the beneficiary annually by gift, by loan receive funds without creating a taxable event? Yes. The people and your children. Thank you, Aset. Oh my God, you're so sweet. Um, so in terms of a meeting, can you have a meeting on a cruise or in amusement park or traveling abroad? And what is exactly covered? And can you run an example? Okay. So, what does your indenture say, right? So whenever you have these types of questions, you always refer to the governing instrument. Your governing instrument is your indenture. Your indenture says that a meeting could be held anywhere in the world. Okay. So is a cruise anywhere in the world? Yes, it is, right? So if you're hosting a meeting in the cruise, then all expenses related to that meeting are covered by the trust organization. So whatever expenses that is, okay, it could be flight, it could be accommodations with your stay. It could be food that that was eaten, or whatever you drunk during the meeting. So it could be any of those things, right? If you attended some type of meeting within the cruise line because they want you to purchase a package or something like that. You know how some of those cruises have um what are those things called?
Drink packages and all kind of other packages. Yeah.
No, that is not what I said. No, no. What are those things called when you have a timeshare? Thank you. That's it. Right? So if you have those type of meetings, things like that, okay? So that is a really good question, Lorenzo. Thank you. Tyrone, you have a question? I see your hand is up.
Yes, I was going to ask about the yesterday's was the business trust and the day was a family trust, and we cannot mix them together, right? But they all can be connected, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're separate entities and you can have them connected or serving or doing business with each other, things like that.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. So someone asked if the trust has collectibles like a Barbie doll collection, can it be passed down and will that create a taxable event for the beneficiaries? So it only creates a taxable event if you're going to sell it. So if you gift it, it doesn't create a taxable event. And that the Barbie doll collection is a collectible, and I wouldn't say that it doesn't have any intrinsic value because potentially it can be sold in exchange for cash. So this is a really good question. Can you continue to add assets to the trust over time? Absolutely. That is a really good question. So you can Move or dispose of assets at any point in time, meaning you can acquire assets today and tomorrow. You can liquidate or sell assets today or tomorrow. So the answer to that is yes. Now, your Schedule B is a living document. Your Schedule C is a living document. Your Schedule D is a living document. That's why the Schedule B, C, and D do not have any signatures that are required because you're constantly going to be updating those three schedules. Whenever you decide to move assets in and out, or when you're updating beneficiary information, like their contact information.
I apologize, Christine. In that same structure, which you just spoke, it would be very advantageous to have paperwork put in as far as keeping things in order. They all stay with each other, right? You don't destroy anything. You just put everything in order and document it on that level, right? You
Yeah,
know, if I can.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you're just constantly going to be adding it. And so you want to have like a binder. And with that binder, that you're going to constantly be, adding anything that you change or update or amend or, um, anything that you need to
Right.
add. Yeah.
No, I was just thinking about that and where you was answering, I was like, wow. I'm like, so do we just, because if I change something or I add something, am I erasing, off of that or am I getting rid of that? But everything should be on the record from when you first started compared to when you ended, right? So everything should just stay together.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mary asked, does the CPA work in all states? Yes. And let me see if there's any other questions. How do you change the name of the trust? The name of the trust cannot be changed. So if you're not going to operate that entity anymore, you have to terminate that entity and create a new entity with a new name. So if you wanted to use Wyoming as a state, but you don't live there, what do you suggest? So I suggest that you get a virtual address because that is what you need. You need a physical address in that state in order for the trust to be domiciled in that state. So should the trust be formed in the same state? It doesn't have to. So these are three separate entities and you can do as you wish with the entities. So I have seen it to where other people typically they do, but it depends on your operation, right? So if you need to establish one of your trusts in Texas, the other trust in New York, the other trust in Georgia, you can do that. Okay, these are separate entities. They're not the same entity. So you can choose different domiciles for different entities, and that could be for different reasons and purposes. And it should just be based off of your specific structure and how you're going to operate. Can we sell my son's car into the family trust and issue an IOU to him and draw funds from the trust on a need-to-know basis? So this scenario is a little interesting here. Now, can you place your son's car into the trust? Yes. Can you issue loans regarding the assets? Yes. All right, so Any other final questions or concerns? If not, we are going to wrap it up.
I do have one.
Yes.
I think you went past it. You hit the Wyoming one, went right past one. Kristen, how you doing?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. Alton. Um, how would a trustee sign their name on behalf of the trust, entering into a type of agreement or contract? So like a LLC, you would have LLC on the end if you had a business operating an LLC.
Oh, Alton, that's a wonderful question. So when you're signing as a trustee, there's two ways you can do it. You can sign your signature as the authorized representative, and then you can put your title. So your title is TTEE. So you just always need to have to identify yourself in that appointed position. The other way that you can do that is you can also write it out. So after you have placed your authorized signature, then you can write the term as trustee of, and then you can put the actual name of the entity. So as trustee of, blank family legacy. So that was a great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Um, so let's see, Mary.
Hey, Christina, thank you so much. This has been a great class. Really, really amazed by everything that you've been teaching. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. I
Thank,
appreciate
thank
you
you
saying
so
that.
much. I'm really glad you're feeling better too, because
Thank
I
you
was
so
worried.
much.
Yeah, it's
Thank
glad to hear
you.
that.
Thank you, thank you,
So
thank you.
thank you, honey. So my question is that regarding the where I wrote where I wanted to put my son's car into the trust.
Yeah.
We have our cars, our family cars, and I'm planning to have be investing in some real estate and stuff like that. So probably applies to other assets as well. But in my studies of the trust situation and how to place assets into the trust, there was a someone else was talking about how you can sell your own personal assets into the trust, and the trust can issue you an IOU to instead of giving you an exchange of cash, because otherwise you would be taxed on that. But if the trust issues an IOU, and then you just draw it as needed for fun, food, and fashion, basically, um, then you would be limited to what you're actually using. Um, instead of having to be taxed on the full amount that you sold the car into the trust. So I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that, Laura.
Yes. So yes, that is possible. That is also a very good idea if you would like to do it that way. So that's one way to kind of park an asset into the trust, but then ultimately receive like, a small amount from the trust organization regarding the asset. So, or the value of the asset or what needed to be exchanged. So absolutely, yes.
Okay, and then if I had a if I had the rest of the the um the money that's sitting in the trust in the corpus, if I was to have my ministry trust as the beneficiary, I would be able to then make a distribution of whatever's in the body of that. Oh, no, that's wrong. The ministry trust. I was wondering if I can donate money from oh, wait a minute, from a W-2 to the ministry trust, and then be able to, oversee the workings of that ministry trust. Can I donate money from my own W-2 from my business, say?
Yes. Okay. So from your W-2, yes, you can donate up to 60% of your annual gross income into the faith-based organization. So that's yes. The second thing that I kind of heard you mention that I want to clarify is that we do not place the charitable organization as a beneficiary in order to have money go into the organization. So it does not have to be a beneficiary. What transpires is the faith-based organization is not going to receive a distribution. So it will actually receive a charitable contribution, and that is the donation that you are going to give to the organization. So there is no tie in the organization being a beneficiary, so don't do that.
Great, thank you. And
Yeah.
the last question I had was my family has they're setting up several businesses. I have kids who are in their 20s, and they have their ideas of what they want to do for business, and I'm trying to help them set that up with a family trust. So for my studying it, my structure is basically each person has their own LLC, which is disregarded and um, funneled into the money funnels down into a holding company that's in Wyoming, and then has it is taxed as a C corp so that we can draw a W-2 as well as the K-1 uh, income separation to avoid having the whole thing taxed as self-employment. And then I was going to have the K-1 distribution go down into the business trust. And then the W-2 we could use for, just fun, food and fashion, or we could even donate 60% of that into the ministry trust. And just wondering if you're following along with that. I'm sure you are, but I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think that is perfect. It sounds like a very beautiful structure, honestly, and I understood 1000% of it. I would tell you also to run it by our CPA.
Okay, thank you so much. God bless.
Welcome. Thank you,
Thank
Mary.
you. Bye, honey.
Awesome. Ulanda asks, when will access to the Facebook group be granted? So, Ivy is working on getting everyone approved. The thing that happens with the Facebook group is that if your screen name or username is not a name that we recognize, then you're just going to be sitting there waiting, or we'll send you a message to retrieve the information of the name that you used and the email you used to log in. So that might be an issue of why you're experiencing delays getting into the private Facebook group. And the next question is, will we receive recordings from today and yesterday? So we do not send out the recordings. You have access to the recordings through the online portal. So when you enrolled, you received login credentials. You have to log into the portal. You have to go to the section that says workshop training recordings, and then typically is all the way at the bottom. So on the very top is the very it goes from old to new. So on the very top, you will see like the very oldest workshop. You scroll all the way to the bottom and you'll see the latest workshop, which is the workshop that we're in right now. So you'll see day 1, and then day 2 will be able to be accessed 1 hour after we are done with the Zoom. And the last question is a set, and then I will see you guys tomorrow.
Hey there, Queen.
Hi, beautiful.
I don't have much of a question at all. I'm just feeding off of what the last question was in regards to the structure. I made my holding company as you had given guidance on through the trust. She was just mentioning that she created her holding companies through Wyoming. Is that the way, I'm sure the way you showed us is acceptable, but is it necessary to do a holding company as an LLC, or is the trust sufficient?
So the trust is sufficient as being a holding company. So she is already talking about something that is existing. So If you already have a holding company, you don't have to dissolve your holding company at all. So, and that's not really what you want to do. If you already have a pre-existing entity, instead of dissolving it, you should use it for, funding purposes. So, her structure is it's unique, and it could be very different from yours. But if you don't have a holding company, you don't need to establish one. Your trust can hold your legal entity directly.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, so we're all done for today. So this is a wrap for day 2 of the Wealthy Trustee Workshop. So today we went over the private family trust. Now let me let you know what your homework is. So the first thing is that we have a bunch of resources available for you guys in the program. So I want you to begin to start working on the asset inventory list, because that is what we are going to be using on Friday when we go to transfer our assets, okay? So it's a really good worksheet so that you guys can know what assets you have, so that you can understand which assets qualify to go in the trust and which assets don't qualify to be held in the trust, okay? So work on that. And then if you guys need access to the recordings as well. So we're going to meet here tomorrow on Zoom at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we're going to be going over the faith-based organization. So you're going to receive an email 1 hour before before the workshop, and it's going to have the resources and templates that you're going to need for tomorrow. So with that being said, you guys have a beautiful and amazing rest of your, I was going to say Thursday, rest of your Tuesday. Today is Taco Tuesday, so if you guys want some tacos, go ahead and get some. I think I might go grab some tacos, but I will see you guys here tomorrow morning, same place, same space. So you guys have a highly favored rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for being here and staying throughout the whole entire workshop. Bye, everyone.
Have a
Bye,
great day,
Christine.
sis.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys. You guys have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You too.